So welcome to Health One, freshman health class. Um, in my first couple of days, and especially the first day, I like to make sure we are really thorough about covering the syllabus. And then I really like to hammer in my classroom, expectations and procedures, and really spend a couple days kind of hammering those out. I'm going to kind of briefly go over this in the explainer video on how I would procedurally do that and focus on a few of the main topics that are kind of high points of emphasis for my students as they kind of navigate the first couple of days of the course that we usually go over kind of step by step. But kind of the first thing is we talk about our grading policy and explain to them the requirements of the course and why they're taking the course, how it pertains to graduation and the credit they need. From there, we usually move on to where my class expectations come in with student conduct, and kind of my main highlighted points that we talk about are acting responsibly, having integrity, showing respect, being on time to class, not using obscene language, showing respect for your peers, having empathy for other students. We really hammer those core values in, like I said, in kind of a longer statement that we spend a couple days on. But we really the values and kind of my core philosophy I express to them pretty heavily, really in the first day. The second thing we really hammer in, and I really put high emphasis on this because this is a daily routine that we and procedure that we get their students in, that I kind of always work to put them in a position where they're always coming in and kind of managing themselves, and they don't need me to manage and tell them what to do. And so this is a process that takes a little bit of time, but the first in my class is each student is required to bring a binder or a notebook, something that they can basically journal and answer questions and write in and keep track of. If they don't have one, I usually provide one for them. But when they come in every day, on the board, on my Promethean board at the front of the class, there'll be a gratitude question that they'll be asked for, and then they'll be asked a question that is pertaining usually to the unit that we are in. It can vary. It can be an open-ended question, but usually pertains to usually the subject matter, and usually a prior lesson that we covered pertaining, but it's an engagement question that they will answer, and then I will usually call on to start some type of conversation and engagement with the class. And this is kind of a daily thing. I give them about 3 to 4 minutes to answer their gratitude question and basically get kind of a thought process going for that secondary question that pertains to the unit, and then we get conversation going and then usually get into the lecture. Some of the things I want to highlight and kind of where my focus is with 3 items is kind of in the technology area and range, just from these are kind of some of the important things that I use technology with, and I do put a high emphasis on technology, but we are a one-to-one school, so every kid is issued a Chromebook that I require them to bring to class because we do utilize a lot of research material with it. There are projects we utilize with it, but mainly a lot of our full classwork is done kind of through Google and Google Classroom, and so it is a requirement that they bring these to class, and I really hammer it home. We usually spend a decent amount of time going over a tutorial about how to use Google Classroom, some of the features with it. But in this, I use it for assessment basis. We take all of our unit tests through Google Classroom, all of their work, any lectures, any notes, any worksheets, any exercises that we've done in class. Everything is posted in the Google Classroom. Their grades are posted in Google Classroom. So Google Classroom is one of the number one most important things that they need to be able to navigate. And so we spend a significant amount of time kind of giving them a tutorial and going over that, making sure they understand that. So with, again, the Chromebooks being utilized, there's a lot to it as far as what we do interactively when they bring them to class. I utilize in my classroom Kahoot quite a bit, which is an interactive gaming, kind of gamification type educational system. If you haven't used it before, it's pretty cool, but it is a really cool app for engagement, and I find a lot of success with my students in the engagement process with it. And so we utilize this for some quizzes. We utilize it for a collaborative study group day. We'll do study reviews individually with them. I am a coach, and so I tell the kids that I like to compete a little bit, and so we do this for prizes, and I usually have some type of a reward system a little bit for winners that are on the top 3 that win the challenge. So really cool app, but I in tune use it because our kids get to be able to go back and review kind of our unit stuff, and they can look at test questions that I put in there and get a really good grasp for studying with it. So it becomes a really important thing. And then the last thing that I really utilize in the technology range kind of comes with the Remind and the communication app for families. And this is kind of what brings the classroom community together, I think, is being able to have the ability to engage with our parents and students. And Remind and our Synergy app that allow our students to be able to see, track their students' progress, know when assignments, tests are coming up, things are due. It allows me to communicate one-on-one with a parent or guardian if there are issues or if there are things we need to get ironed out with maybe an IEP or some sort of educational program. So it becomes a really important factor that we hammer and I express to the kids and go into great detail about how to use the app, how to communicate, how your families can communicate, because it does become a really powerful tool when we're talking about communication. And again, bringing the community sense to our classroom and the sense of trust and communication always adds to that with this. So again, these are kind of the areas we focus on in my first couple of days with my procedures and my expectations of what they need to understand in Health One. So thanks.